What did you say? You probably have something right now that you should share, publish, just send out into the world. But chances are you're not doing it because it's not quite ready. Now, this isn't going to be one of those like motivational quips about how your work is never ready, so get it out there anyway. No. This is about getting your stuff out there while you are still working on it. When it isn't ready, that's the point. It's not ready, you're working on it, and you get it out there. And the reason you do this is because people want to see the process as much as they want to see the final work. Think about the behind the scenes or making of movies. I'm sure many of us love to watch the process of how a movie gets made. Think about even those like pressure washing videos, as kind of strange as that sounds. The process of like pressure washing a driveway or whatnot. Even though it's not really behind the scenes, it is the process of the work. But the final piece, right, is the clean driveway, the clean environment. We love seeing the process of something getting made. We find the process as intriguing and sometimes more intriguing than the final product. That's the power and importance of getting your work out there when it's in the process of being made, when it isn't complete. Your fans, customers, followers, whatever, they're gonna love the final product, but they're gonna love it more if they see the process of it happening. The process is sort of where that emotion is built. They are connecting to this piece in a deeper way than just seeing that final product and then deciding to buy it or support you or however it is that you make money and connect with your fans and followers. You wanna build that deeper connection. And that just comes with showing your work. You don't have to get out there and talk to a camera, things like that. You can just show a time lapse of you creating something or just a piece of you creating whatever it is. If you're writing music, building a sculpture, creating a painting, you're behind the scenes of how you take a photograph. All that process builds this deeper emotional connection with your fans, followers, and your audience. You're sort of bringing them into your creative soul, and they get even more connected with you, and not just the work, but you as well, because they see the artist behind the work. You know who else likes to see work in progress? People who commission work, people who would want to buy you to paint a mural on the wall, or to photograph an event or something special like that, to build a sculpture for them, to write music specifically for them. People who even, are investors behind artists and creatives or creative businesses. Even agents and managers and producers and all those other kinds of people love to see that work in progress too, because they like to see your process of how you do it. Of course, they care very much about your final product, but they love to see the process of how you make it. They also want to support the artist based on their process and the way in which they make something. And maybe the idea of all of this scares you. Well, guess what? That's good too. And that means you actually care. And it's important to care about the right things and not the wrong things. So what are the wrong things to care about? People won't like your work if you're sharing your work in progress. Well, guess what? That's going to happen anyway. Even a completed piece, people may not like it. You care that maybe if you show your work in progress, that you show that you're not good enough. You're showing the process of how you work and you think, well, I'm not as good as someone else who has a better process. Well, guess what? You're never going to be good enough. That's the point. You're always trying to do better. So you're only as good enough as you are now. And that's okay. That's what you care about. You care that you're as good as you can be now. You don't care that you're not good enough. You care that you will be judged on the quality of your incomplete piece. And that's the wrong thing to care about. People are going to judge you on a completed piece. It doesn't matter if they judge you on an incomplete piece. Those people aren't worth anything anyway, all right? Don't worry about the people that are going to judge you no matter what happens. So don't care about those things. Now there are also some right things to care about. New fans will discover and appreciate your work if you start sharing the process of it. People sitting behind gate-kept doors, people that you want to reach out to at higher levels in big positions or at certain companies, may see that work in progress. Those are the things you care about. You could get feedback that could help improve your process. If you've watched this far and you're thinking, well, that's not my vibe, that's not really what I want to do, well, to that I say, that's how a starving artist thinks. But this is how a hungry artist sees it. If I'm waiting, I'm not creating. If I'm waiting to share my process and my work, I'm not creating. I'm not creating awareness. I'm not creating engagement. I'm not creating connections. I'm not creating this loop of feedback and interaction with my fans, followers, customers, and other people I'm not even aware that are coming into my work and seeing what I'm creating. And then that means I'm not creating trust and I'm not creating momentum. And the other thing is that people don't care as much about a single post as you think they do, right? So you're like, I don't want to share this work in progress because, they're going to see it and they're going to judge my whole creative career, my whole artistic ability on that single post. It's just not how people operate. It's like that spotlight effect. You can look it up, but we all think a spotlight is on us. And if everyone has a spotlight on them, they're not seeing other people's spotlights. So every time you post something online, in essence, that's just a wave. Hello, right? And every time you wave, they're just noticing you waving. They don't remember that exact wave, right? I know that sounds strange, but they're not going to remember every single thing you post. They're just going to remember you, the creative, the artist who is posting. And that's where that connection comes from. So don't be worried about sharing that work in progress or something that's incomplete because you're going to be judged on it, because you're not. You're just showing up to people who care about you and your work. And then with that, consistency creates familiarity, right? They become familiar with you. They become familiar with your work. They're more inclined to support you and get behind you and see you succeed as an artist because they become familiar with you and your work. And one of my favorites that I experience a lot is that you learn by sharing the process. Right? So when I'm writing something, or when I was first making YouTube videos, or when I'm putting together a pitch deck, or any of these things, and I'm sharing the work in progress and process, and I post it, I'll have my close collaborators will reach out to me and give me advice or feedback, or even random people will reach out to me and give me advice or feedback. And make suggestions on how I can make something better. And that's way easier it's way easier for someone to do that when it's a work in progress, right? Because think about it this way. If you post something, you're like, oh, I've just spent a month on this, or I spent this whole week nonstop making this thing and it's complete and I'm so happy with it. It's harder for someone to want to comment or give feedback when they know that you spent all that time and in your mind it's finished. What's the point of giving feedback? You said you're done. It's finished. You're showing your completed work. But if you show that work in progress, then it's far more likely they feel more open to giving feedback and to giving notes, etc. Now, by the way, that doesn't mean you have to take any of it. And that also doesn't mean that's the goal of it. I'm just saying that is something that can happen from sharing your work. And if you don't want to take anyone's advice, if you're like, nope, I am the artist I am, and I make what I make, that's fine too. But by chance, maybe someone you respect or you appreciate their art leaves a comment and you think actually is a pretty good idea. So that's cool. That's something that happens when you share that work in progress in your process. So that's what you should be doing. Share that work, share what you're working on, get it out there. There's so many benefits to it. The benefits to it far outweigh the negative sort of experience. And the negatives are just our emotional feelings behind it. And I'm not saying that's invalid, because of course it's valid. And I know it can be difficult. And I know seeing something negative and it can feel uncomfortable. It's almost like walking outside naked, right? When you are sharing stuff that isn't complete. But that process and that sharing and that community building is just so valuable. And that's how a hungry artist operates, right? You are hungry to get your stuff out there. You're hungry to succeed. You're hungry to connect. So you get your work out there for others to see, even while you're making it, even when it's incomplete, when it's imperfect, when it's not ready. Because then when you finally show that final piece, people will love it even more because they'll see what it took to get there. And think of it this way. If you've ever had someone want to hire you or pay you for your work and they offer something that's like way less than you would ever expect to accept as a payment offer, and you're like, no, it takes a lot of time for me to make this, but they don't see that, right? Anything that looks good and easy is actually really hard to do, and people don't see that process, so they don't see the value. So by sharing that process and sharing that progress, they see the value. So then when you are selling something, they understand that you priced it where you did because they see how much work and effort went into making it. And again, that's just one of many things. So get your work out there. Don't let that fear slow you down from creating engagement and awareness and fans and followers and customers and all those things around your work. All right, I hope that was helpful for you and my rambling wasn't too annoying. If you like this video, please subscribe. I super appreciate it. And get out there, be a hungry artist, and keep making amazing work.